Welcome back. And if you tuned in late, we are talking about Emma's Law, and it's changing the way we do business in South Carolina, because if you're going to drink and drive, you could very well be in deep trouble. And my guest, I'm so proud to have him here, is a DUI attorney, defense attorney,
yes,
Steve Sumner. And he is a top 100 trial lawyer in South Carolina. Thank you. Thank you for giving us your time.
Well, listen, thank you.
Now, where did we turn this off? Because I'm so excited about this. How many other states have this law?
Peggy, we are the 21st state among 50 to require some form of ignition interlock device on first offense conviction.
Okay.
So there are 20 others that also have the same or similar laws. Actually, this is a radically different approach, and that's what I tried to get across in the editorial that I wrote for the Greenville News, and that's what I'm hoping to get across to your viewers today, is that it is a very different approach. In the past, what our legislature has done and what our laws have been is that if you were convicted of drunk driving on multiple occasions, then you would have what we would call a hard suspension, meaning you could not drive any type of vehicle under any circumstances for a certain number of years, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years if you'd have 3 or 4 convictions. And so you couldn't drive at all. And that was the way that we did business regarding drunk driving in South Carolina.
But you and I both know people drove anyway.
Well, what you're saying is something that we know. And when I go down there, when I went down on the conference committee meetings and the stakeholders meetings for this legislation, that was the first thing people would say is, we all know that they're driving. Well, and so now the radical difference with Emma's Law not only is the ignition interlock, but it's this now. You can have 3 or several prior convictions. If you go down through DMV and you get this device put on your car, you can be driving legally tomorrow, okay? And so that's the flip side of it. So we're embracing a new technology, and what I tried to get across in the article for the Greenville News was this is a very different approach to serial drunk driving. But I'm going to say this, we certainly as a society need to think about changing the way that we attack it, and I didn't have a real problem with it because nobody, myself included, advocates or gets behind somebody that is a serial repeat drunk driver and risks the lives of others on the road. Of course, we know the law was named after Emma Longstreet, who was a 6-year-old child on her way to church. You can't make this up. On her way to church, and was tragically killed by a repeat 5-time prior convicted drunk driver. And it made you sick to read it. But I tell you what though, and I am a defense attorney, and I love working for people. I love working for people that have been accused. I do have a lot of respect for Mr. Longstreet. He and his family, they took the burden of this and tried to make something positive in the name of their child. They worked very hard, and we'll have to see over the next few years if it's something that makes a difference in highway safety. A lot of people feel like it will, and we'll have to wait and see how the statistics in the few years and see if we do see a reduction in fatalities. I think that South Carolina is looking for about a 25% reduction in the alcohol-related fatalities at the hands of repeat and serial drunk drivers. I only hope that's true. I hope it's 100%. Hope it's 50%. But I think we would all really be thrilled if we saw 25% decrease in lives lost or maimed at the hands of a repeat and serial drunk driver.
Because I mean, every day almost, if you pick up the paper, you turn on the newscast, and there's another tragedy. And we need to be aware of this.
Well, we do need to be aware of it, and we need to know really because frankly, DUI law is confusing. You know, you and I have talked about it. I mean, it's not against the law to consume alcohol and drive, and it's something that is really misunderstood. I'm not saying to your viewers or to you that it's the best idea in the world. Don't misunderstand me. But that itself is not illegal. Our law is confusing. It's a little bit confusing, not on purpose. It's just because it is. We do have the ability to consume alcohol if we're over 21 legally, responsibly. And what we're trying to do here, or what I think our state government's trying to do, is have a different approach. We want highway safety. this is one aspect of highway safety. Good roads are another aspect of highway. And I know that's beyond our program
that's
today.
right.
Widening roads, there are all kind of safety issues. We've seen texting. We've seen with that, and we're not even going to get into that right now.
Talking on the phone while you're,
talking on the phone,
and we're all guilty.
I'm guilty. I was guilty of it coming over here to sit down and visit with you. And I mean, I shouldn't say that, but we do.
Yeah. The phone rings, and you think, well, it might be an emergency. It might be somebody who needs.
I have to get it, and I know the focus of our show today is to talk about Emma's Law and talk about that. Yeah. But we all know, and the studies have shown, that texting and or talking on the telephone while you're driving is the most dangerous activity, bar none, that you can do. That's what puts more people at risk than anything, but this does too.
And we do need to use judgment. But this is the thing about the law that is, when you say, okay, it's legal, you can drink and still drive,
right.
It's left to the individual's judgment.
That is correct.
And that is what is dangerous. Well, if you drink, you can say, well, I've just had 3 drinks, I feel great, and you get behind the wheel of a car.
Right.
They leave it to the individual to judge.
That is correct.
And that is dangerous.
Well, it's part of our civil liberties. It's part of the things that we're able to do as free citizens in a free country and in a free state. We do put a lot of trust into our citizens and to use good judgment. Another point, Peggy, that I guess I'll bring up along those lines is, unlike New York City, unlike places like that with really a lot of good mass transportation, public transportation, we know South Carolina's a rural state. You and I know that it's a beautiful state, for number one. Yeah. From the mountains to the sea it is, but it's a rural state. And driving vehicles to go out and eat dinner, driving vehicles to go to the movie, the grocery store is just a part of the fabric here in South Carolina, as it is in many rural states.
Most places you can't get there without.
Exactly. You can't get there without a car. So, I think that what we see, and I want to tell you this, I know you and I we're on the same sides of the fence when it comes to, I think, our Constitution and our laws and a free society. But I'm the advocate for the person that has been charged, the person that is accused, and I work just as hard as I can for them. Our system is set up to where the prosecutor works as hard as he can for the state. I work as hard as I can for the person accused, and the jury sorts it out, and it is without a doubt the best system in the world. I have written about it. I've had the pleasure to write about it. I went to London 2 years ago. Listen, wonderful experience. Looked at all their courts, and their judges were so nice. I got to go in and look for 3 hours every day at a different court and talk with the judges, and I can tell you that we have one of the best systems in the world. The right to a jury trial and serving on a jury is the greatest thing you can do for your country other than fighting in a war. That's been said before, and it's very serious. And I just love the opportunity to come over and talk. You can tell I get worked up about it.
I do too.
Listen, I don't like it being attacked. I mean, you can take limited situations, and there's no question that we can sit here and we can look at every trial that's occurred, and we can see mistakes here and there. There's no system is perfect. There's only one person that ever walked this earth that was perfect. And it's not a perfect system, but it's the best. It is the best. When we let our citizens stand in judgment of our other citizens under the rules of evidence, then that is the fabric of a good society.
But this law, as I understand it, says first time.
Yes.
You don't have a second time. That lock goes on, and you have to pay for it.
That's exactly right.
And maybe through this, with good people like you out there working with the government as well, and our law enforcement people, God bless them.
We have wonderful, wonderful law enforcement.
Maybe we can change how South Carolina drives, and we won't have constant panic and death on our highways.
And I'll say this, if any viewer feels like, I'm not sure if I'm safe to drive right now, then don't.
Don't.
And I'll
Call
say that.
Cab.
How about that? That goes contrary to my business, but I can tell you this, without any question. When in doubt, let someone else drive.
Yeah, and Steve Sumner, www.upstatedui.com. Right?
Thank you, Peggy. That's it. I've so much enjoyed being here with you. Thank you for inviting me, and I hope this has helped you.
And wherever you are, talk to your kids. Fasten those seat belts and put the phone down. We'll see you next time.
Great advice.